What is going on, guys? My name is Tubby Emu. Extreme Rules 2017 happened last night, and I gotta be honest with you, I do not watch WWE live each week. It's not watchable live. It's not worth putting the time and effort into it. Now, I still tune in and I still watch the show or fast forward through the show, but Extreme Rules 2017 proved a big point. WWE has put the championship on a part-timer. I personally am not against that because I do not think if you put a championship on somebody and he's there every week, you're not instantly going to draw more than what you are right now. Personally, I think the interest in wrestling is at a time where it's kind of dipping, and it will fluctuate and go up and down with the playoffs and everything else, but it's never been at this much of a low. And the reason is it's not must-see TV. When WWE got their TV deals, they got a lot of money because WWE was essentially at the time DVR-proof. And this goes to show we have a pay-per-view tonight that did nothing. I mean, let's look at the matches. You had Miz, Rich Swann and Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, Cesaro and Sheamus, Neville, and Samoa Joe all come out victorious. And Kalisto. But what did I watch 4 weeks of Raw to eventually witness? Sasha Banks just get thrown with Rich Swann because she had nothing else to do. We saw Alexa Bliss defeat Bayley, which I'm not opposed to. We saw Cesaro and Sheamus, which is really the only story going into this, that the fact that they turned on the Hardy Boys, they went heel, and then in heelish fashion when the faces had already almost won and Jeff Hardy went back into the cage and people are still debating why did he have to go outside of a cage twice if his feet were already on the outside, but the rules do say both feet must touch the ground for both competitors. Doesn't say you kind of have to stay there. I'm not going to get into the argument about that. But what are we accomplishing here? Besides Cesaro and Sheamus, which, made the heel turn and then now barely escaped the cage in a heelish form without pinning the Hardys or beating him in that way, nothing was accomplished. You had 4 weeks of television, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because somebody would say, like, Debbie, you've gone too soft on the WWE. No, I just choose not to watch it and put in my effort. On my channel, I'm covering old Road to WrestleMania games and having a blast doing that, and then I don't even think about WWE. There is too much wrestling programming going on. For the hardcore fan, if you are day in and day out, all you watch is wrestling, you've got 205 Live, NXT, the UK series, which is going to be starting soon. You've got Raw, you've got main events, you've got Superstars. I don't give a shit about most of that stuff. Other than NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, the rest is filler to me. I don't think I've ever watched an episode of 205 Live besides once. And that's not to say anything bad about the performers on 205 Live. There's just too much wrestling programming. And I'm getting to the point now where if you look at all the other shows on TV that I love, Silicon Valley, Shameless is eventually going to come back. You got Ballers Season 3 with The Rock coming out. My favorite shows now, which are Silicon Valley, Better Call Saul. There's so many different shows that are must-see television that you want to watch. And WWE is not that case. I mean, look at what happened. Now, I'm not opposed to Samoa Joe winning. I think Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar is kind of a dream match, even if it's at Great Balls of Fire, and we're not even going to get into the controversy with the fact that the logo is essentially wieners and balls. Let's just be honest here. They re-updated a new logo today. The Miz beating Dean Ambrose, well, it did accomplish Miz becoming the most time Intercontinental Champion of all time, I think either tying or beating Chris Jericho, which, again, I'm fine with. There isn't anything to sink your teeth into. There's nothing that makes me need to watch WWE Raw on a week-in and week-out basis. They're phoning it in. I don't know if it's Vince. I don't know if they're trying to, just kill the ratings so that you get them as low as possible so when Brock Lesnar comes back, he's an instant draw. But I've just got to say, I'm not going to talk about WWE events just because I have to or feel forced to because I'm a part of the wrestling community. Because I have other interests besides wrestling, and if they're going to put out a crappy product, I'm not going to cover a crappy product. I'm just not going to do it. I think WWE has... I don't want to speculate on what WWE could or couldn't do because, let's be honest here, I don't think any of us know. I don't think we like to sit here, especially in the IWC, and say we know what's best, but if you look at graphs, let me pull this up here. If you pull up the image of the most popular superstars on Google Trends, it's not what you think. Everybody says Roman Reigns is bad for the business, but look at this. You have Roman Reigns, the top most searched person in the WWE, above Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Samoa Joe. So to say that Roman Reigns is killing the business, he's the only interest there's going. Selling the merchandise at number 2. The Neville versus Austin Aries thing. I hope when Austin Aries said he has to like redefine his career or whatnot, that means getting the fuck away from the cruiserweight division. That's just, I don't mean to be blunt there. Hopefully he gets away from it. And goes on to bigger and better stuff than the cruiserweight division. And again, this isn't crapping on any of the cruiserweight talents because I know you're just dealing with what you have to do, but I'm looking at this show and I don't care about any of it. And it sucks as a WWE fan that, like, I posted today, I'm like, if I had to justify to a friend today, why are you still watching WWE? Because it's a chore and because it's a habit and it's because something I've done. That's it. You had SmackDown. You had Jinder Mahal defeat Randy Orton. You had KO versus AJ Styles have a hell of a match. The Welcoming Committee, you know, I'm not a big fan of it, but it at least had a point. That's what it led up to on TV. Sami Zayn beating Baron Corbin, the Usos and Breezango and Tyler Breeze. It's something you want to watch and you look forward to. Nakamura's debut. You had stuff to look forward to, but then when it comes to Raw and Extreme Rules, it's a throwaway pay-per-view, especially when you kind of know that Brock Lesnar is going to squash whoever wins. So you look at this pay-per-view now, and it's essentially a throwaway pay-per-view, right? You have 2 new champions, but for the most part, you're not accomplishing anything. There's nothing, and I get that not every pay-per-view will be big, and, you know, I tweeted before, you know, since I'm not very excited for this build, I'm going to come away blown away. And I wasn't. So I don't have any insights for like what WWE can do to fix this. I don't have any idea, and I'm not going to speculate on, well, if they push this guy, because, guys, there's too many factors to make broad, defiant statements like that. Anybody in the IWC or anybody in the wrestling community in general who says, if they do this, they'll fix all the problems, specifically, there are too many things going on in the world to say that this is the one reason WWE is failing. There's a lot of different reasons they're failing, and unfortunately, it's a mix of things, and a lot of it, and I've talked to some people that are like, there's just too much to follow. Like, why? I mean, I'll selectively tune in, and like, you know, when they get a ratings bump, maybe they saw something on TV, WWE Raw, I mean, they're not really advertising very much at all on TV. The pay-per-view was brought to you by the WWE Network. They didn't even have a title sponsor. I don't know if that was on purpose or they just couldn't find one. You look at the adpocalypse and maybe if it's affecting WWE too. I mean, I think WWE is going to have to do some real soul searching and figuring out what the hell is going on, because NXT was fantastic. The show that NXT put on, it made me go, God damn, that is wrestling. But I don't think all of a sudden bringing on the new UK show and everything else is just going to get me back into it, because, again, at the end of the day, that's just another wrestling show that I got to keep up with. It's another wrestling show that I've got to follow, and it's just pushing the boundaries of what you're willing to go through as a WWE fan. So I want to pose the question to you guys, because I don't think any of us have that answer to say this is what's going to fix WWE, but WWE, what you're doing now is now working. As a fan, as somebody that has watched you since I was a kid, that his dad would wake him up when he was like 1 year old, not even a year old, at 2 a.m. when he got home from work to watch reruns of WCW and WWE, what you're doing now, I don't give a shit about. I would much rather watch shows on television and watch reruns on Netflix than watch your first airing of WWE, and as a WWE fan, that is the hardest thing I can say. Because as a wrestling fan, there's a lot of great wrestling out there right now. But as a wrestling fan for WWE, it's like, I honestly don't care. And it sucks that maybe I'm at a point in my life where this is good, right? Maybe this is at a point where if WWE goes sour, I can finally focus on other things. Because on my priority list, WWE, obviously, because I was at WWE YouTube channel, it revolved around wrestling. But WWE has made it easier as a fan of entertainment to start going to other avenues of entertainment because of how poorly this show has been. So that's the question I want to pose to you guys. I don't think there's a way to necessarily fix it out of the blue. But if you watch the show, besides I want this guy to get a push, what can WWE do anything in your mind to make a better TV product to draw you in You know, when we had matches last fall with, you know, from week to week, they meant something. That if he beat this person, or, you know, between Kevin Owens and losing the opportunity with Jericho, like there's got to be something WWE can do from a week-to-week basis that makes it so when I'm watching from this show to the next show, it's connected and it's not just, I don't care what happens. Because the last 3 weeks of Raw have pretty much sucked. And I don't care about it. And I hate to say that. I hate to come on the internet and just complain and whine as a wrestling fan because, you know, WWE people are like, well, they don't like what we're doing. You know, what do you want me to say? Like, great job the last couple weeks with the television. Great job. Like, no, because it wasn't there. I have so many good shows that I love. So many shows that I watch and put time into that I like. You know, I mentioned Silicon Valley. It's just one of them. The President's Show on Comedy Central. Last week tonight with John Oliver. Billions. Billions is one of my favorite shows on Showtime. I loved every single episode this year. They had a reason to keep watching from episode to episode. It drew you in. And I know there's so much television with WWE. But WWE, something's got to change. You can't keep doing this, or, I mean, it's not a big loss if you lose a fat guy from Wisconsin. But I'm telling you right now, something's got to change because everything else in my life that I like is pulling me more towards that and is just basically wanting to tell WWE to read between the lines at this point because it is not worth my time. I don't even watch the NXT weekly show now because of how just like bummed out I am with wrestling in general, which sucks because the pay-per-views are excellent and then I'll fast forward through the NXT episodes. Like I said, I don't think there's a magical solution. WWE, that's on you to figure out. That's not on me as a fan. You present me a show. That's why I love TV so much is they have a show, they have a narrative. If I like the show, I keep watching. If I don't like the show, I tune out. I don't want to be a part of it. And I know as a WWE fan, that's what makes it great. But at the same time, you have to make something that makes me want to invest. And you're not doing that. So I'm going to put my time and effort into other shows, other forms of entertainment, and hopefully WWE wins me back. I'm not going to make it a priority anymore going forward to watch it live or even watch like on a half-hour tape delay so I can fast forward. If I have other things I can do, that's what I'm going to focus on. Tonight will be the last chance I give it. We're going to watch Raw tonight. And if it doesn't shock me or if it doesn't like go, dang, that's a good show, even though right after pay-per-view they usually do. So I guess technically next week's show will be the defining moment. But come on, WWE, this is your last shot, man. I don't want to leave because, let's be honest, I'm never going to leave wrestling. I'm too big of a wrestling fan just in general. But it's not going to, you know, dedicate my time any longer. That's just the way it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What would make you want to watch WWE more? What is something, or do they just have too much programming in your mind and you just cannot follow up or keep track at this point? I'd love to know what you guys have to say in the comment section below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at TubbyEmu. You can follow my Facebook page, facebook.com/TubbyEmu as well. As we've had a bunch of Road to WrestleMania, so you can check them all out. The links in the description on my channel. We're about to finish up CM Punk's, Sheamus's, and a bunch of other ones. So until next time, it's your boy TubbyEmu. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all later.